Hi everyone, great to have you here again. It's Bobby from the Ultimate Business Show, and we've got a fantastic topic to chat about with you today. It's talking about mental health and how you as a business owner can get more resilient to it. So stay tuned for some amazing topics coming soon. Hi everyone, it's Bobby from the Ultimate Business Show, and thank you very much for joining us. I'm here with Michael today. Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thanks, Bobby. And you talked about mental health, so I thought, well, I've got to jump in and ask you some questions.
I'm hoping that's nothing too big of an issue at your end, mate, but you know, it's...
I thought I'd just start camera. Bobby, we're talking about mental health for business owners. How important do you think this is, and is there a trend becoming more aware?
Michael, as you know, as running a business isn't easy, and sometimes you've just got yourself to talk to, and you know, so you may not be the best form of conversation. Just got like the Jekyll and Hyde talk with you on your shoulders. But you know, it really is important, because as an employee, you've got managers, you've got other staff, you've got the bosses to chat with, and you go home and that's it, no problem whatsoever. But as the actual owner, as the business owner, everything is on your shoulders. And if you're starting a business, if you've been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, it's all on you effectively. You may have layers of staff and layers of management to deal with a lot of the intricate details, but the more finer details of running the business, that's all on you. So having some mental health relievers is definitely important.
Do you think that mental health and resilience, as you talk about it, comes naturally to people, or do you think there are things that eventually wears down and we have to, like any form of training?
It definitely is. It's something which some people, I guess, are less prone to being affected by external factors, and there are obviously some people that are more prone to it. It's just finding that right balance, because as Crystal, she would definitely tell me I don't even stress, but I stress in my own ways. You know, it's just totally different to what her stresses are about. I can remain calm during a busy period where she's there pulling her hair out, and whereas for me it's something that, okay, I just got to, head down, bum up. And then that form of a busy part of the day, that's just something which just needs to be done, and there's no point making a song and dance about it also.
So do you think mental health and building resilience and developing resilience, do you think this should become a part of your diarised program, just like going to the gym or personal development? It
definitely is. You can learn your professional development within your field of business. You can get some stress reliever from the gym, and those things are all good and all that to build those parts of your life, but you need to have that mental health aspect, just the unwinding aspect of your busy day, because as we know as business owners, it's very hard to shut off, because it is a 24 hours a day, 7-day-a-week job, and you effectively don't get away from it.
Do you find that discussing this with business owners, and you do coaching business owners as part of your practice and mentoring them, do you find that there is resistance? People go, oh no, I'm fine, I don't need, they see there's some kind of weakness if you go talking about this stuff?
Definitely is, because there's those big social media gurus. I love him, Gary Vaynerchuk. He is fantastic, but his motto of don't sleep, just work, that may work very well for him, but the followers that listen to him and read what he writes regarding that, they'll go with no sleep and they'll literally burn out. So it's definitely something which you need to have on a personal level, of an individualized to yourself personally.
So when we start talking about that, you mentioned a little bit about relaxing, and I think one of the terms we talked about before we went on camera was this daily meditation. But sometimes people think it's meditation, do this sit on top of a mountain, shave your head bald, and
well, meditation can come in many forms. You hit the nail on the head. You can sit there in a yoga position with your fingers crossed, and you're having a doing that. We actually did a yoga class a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be continually doing that probably quite regularly, I think. I felt that it was good to just get away from the office and do those yoga poses, and it finished off with some light meditation at the end. That was my first time pretty much officially meditating, so I didn't really get in the zone as professional meditators would, but it was good because I actually asked the instructor, I asked her, oh, how long was that meditation part? It felt like only a couple of minutes. 20 minutes.
Wow.
Sitting there with your eyes closed, relaxed, just breathing, and that was really good because I went to sleep quite refreshed and woke up the next day really, really energized.
Yeah.
But for example, a lot of people might not want to do that.
Yeah.
I was mentioning to you earlier, it's another form of my meditation is literally just sitting down reading a book, because
Yeah.
I'm in that quiet zone and I'm reading a book that I enjoy, and I'm following the story, being a fictional or non-fiction, whatever it may be, and that's getting into a fantasy land effectively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for some people is really what meditation is. So it's not clear cut what meditation is for you, but it's something which you enjoy doing.
I've heard people say that even like, and you're saying meditation can take all forms, and some people, I've heard people who do swimming, for instance, They say because we're sort of concentrating on form and structure and what I'm actually doing in the pool, my mind is actually switched off from thinking about work. Is that really what you're talking about when you're talking about meditation? Exactly
right. As if you can switch off and focus on something else, we'll talk about hobbies a little bit later on, but if you can get in that zone where you're just mentally in a different zone, away from the business, away, or if you're an employee, away from your work, because it doesn't matter if you're a boss or if you're an employee, you have stresses in that anyway. So if you can find that your form of meditation, try doing that on a daily basis, and that'll really improve your productivity and your drive.
You mentioned about the gurus, and we see a lot of gurus on social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all the rest of it, and YouTube. And you're saying that sometimes you just have to take that with a pinch of salt, because what they're talking about doesn't often work, and sometimes what you're seeing is perhaps not even real anyway.
Exactly right. It's something which the gurus preach, that's worked for them. I know Grant Cardone, he's a person that wants to beat the sunrise, and that's how he starts his day, and that's fantastic. But some people may prefer to work into the evening, and therefore they can't work on 3 hours of sleep, for example. So those people, you need to just pick and choose what you listen to and what you feel would be beneficial for you, because all of them have great knowledge in various parts of their own careers. So exactly, pick and choose with a grain of salt of what you want and to put on your plate. But you're right in saying that some things aren't all what they appear, because maybe not to that scale. We know Gary Vee, he's very well off and doing very well in his life, but there's some other entrepreneurs and I guess guru figures that you may look up to, and it may not be all that seems on their social media. Yeah, so you may have the people driving in the Ferraris and saying they holiday in 5-star destinations or whatnot, but you don't know, are they borrowing that Ferrari for a day? Are they renting it for a day for $1,000? Are they literally just driving by the 5-star resort and doing their videos to promote themselves? Because that's effectively what it is.
And I think sometimes, I don't know about yourself, but sometimes when you watch some of these people, the gurus and everything else, so people are showing you the joyful aspects of their life. And I suppose if you're in a struggle position, can this start having negative impacts on yourself? Like you feel like, well, why am I that good? Exactly right.
It's always about, on social media, you see your friends and your family or distant friends and whatever, they've got the new car, they've got the new house, or they've got this luxury watch, they've got this pair of shoes, whatever it may be. But you don't know how. Have they struggled? Have they worked hard just to save up to buy that pair of shoes or that house? Are they living beyond their means? Are they literally just trying to keep up with the Joneses? So you don't know the full story.
Yeah.
And those people, the gurus, they may be struggling in real life. They may be saying that, hey, it's all bells and whistles, but you know what, when you meet them in person and have a one-on-one deep and meaningful chat with them, the truth sometimes comes out, and they may not want to divulge everything, but I know in our cases it's the people that we've spoken to that appear to be very successful really aren't.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So when you're thinking about that and social media, I know one of your catch cries is to monitor your watching time. What do you mean by this and why?
Yeah, so the watching time or screen time, whatever, you may be in front of a mobile, you may be in front of your computer, TV, whatever it may be. Take a break from it, because especially with social media at the palm of your hand in your mobile phone, you can just scroll away, and by the time you know it, it's 2 hours have passed, and what have you done productive in that 2 hours? So make sure, if you are a social media buff, make sure you step away from it for a little bit. And even that, like I know Rio Tinto, Woodside, all those big companies in Australia here, they actually have a 45-minute lockout. Well, sorry, a 5-minute lockout every 45 minutes, I should say, from their computers. So your computer stops every 45 minutes, so you can get up, walk around, take a breather, and if you get that opportunity, get some sunshine, because I know us office workers, we don't really see the day too much, and it's not healthy, especially leading up into spring and summer. The weather's getting nicer, so enjoy some fresh air and sunshine, definitely.
It is interesting you say that the big companies that have actually recognised this as part of their helping their staff have resilience, not just the business owner but people working there, is to give them those 5-minute breaks regularly. So it's like small breaks regularly rather than just one big lump sum break that we used to have when we were just kids.
Exactly right. I mean, where I used to work, it'd be get in at 8 o'clock and then lunch break for an hour at 12. So, but during that 4-hour period beforehand, you're meant to have your bum on your seat and your face in front of the computer, which is fine, but you can't frown upon your employees for wanting to have a chat, socialise, and get up and move around, because it's very beneficial for their own productivity. Like we talk about mental health, it's if you can't get to know your colleagues, or even in our case, local business owners, if you don't go out and have a chat, how are you going to expand your network? How are you going to expand your mind even? Because other people have something great to say that, you know, if you're confined in that environment to just keep your mouth shut, then effectively then it may not be the best working environment for you.
No. So when you're looking at that, what are some of the telltale signs that you find in business owners that tell them that they're getting a little bit stressed and perhaps need to start taking a little bit more self-care? What are some of the signs that can be indicating you're now starting to burn the candle at both ends?
Yeah, it's definitely snappiness.
Yeah.
Fatigue.
Oh, I never suffer from any of this.
Not at all, not at all. Definitely not. Fatigue. Another big one is just, going away from snappiness, just more, I guess, being distant, I guess you would call it. Because I know Crystal and myself, we work in the same office together, yet during our first couple of years in business, it was really, we just got to make money, we got to do it all ourselves. And we found that even though we're working together, living together, we were just sort of a bit distant on an emotional level, and that you may not be working with your partner, but if you are, it's something that you really need to focus on, because all three of those aspects, being snappy, being fatigued, being distant, can really affect your personal life, which is, yes, you want to grow your business and make $1 million, but at the end of the day, what have you got to show for it if you've got a broken relationship, if you've lost your friends, if you don't have any hobbies, things like that. So it's something that's really important to make sure that, hey, you know what, let's have a day off, mental health day.
Can your mental health affect the physical well-being of you as well without you noticing it? You
will slowly increase weight, and not the good kind of weight. You will increase body fat, which is not good for your heart, for the rest of the part of your body and general well-being. You will notice you're sluggish, so you'll have the 3 o'clock snacks, which
Yeah.
generally aren't of the good kind, just to get that sugar rush to perk you back up and say, or you're continually drinking coffee.
I'm just wondering how many people are opening up their
Yeah.
desk drawer with the snacks inside the desk drawer.
Exactly, Michael. And you might be going from 1 cup of coffee a day to 10. And are you telling me how many have you had today, Michael?
I've actually come down from 15 cups of coffee a day to 2.
That's fantastic. I used to be like that as well. I used to need my wake up coffee,
Yep.
get to work coffee, pre-lunch coffee, post-lunch coffee, 3 o'clock coffee, end of day coffee,
Coffee with clients.
6, 7, 10 coffees a day. And you know, if you're like me and you're having the beautiful luxurious espressos, you know, it's you're getting buzzed, and that hurts your sleeping habits, that hurts your performance, because as soon as your body gets used to that caffeine rush, you get that crash.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's caffeine, like sugar, like drugs as well. You get addicted to it, and then as soon as you crash, you need to get that buzz again. So I got addicted to caffeine, which isn't good. So yeah, I'm like yourself. I limit myself to 2, maybe 3 a day. We'll see how we go.
I'm talking about that. When we start to recognise those problems, we're starting to now shift ourselves into self-care. So when people talk about self-care, I think most of us are aware of what physical self-care is, but is it a self-care regime that now we should start thinking of, and is there specific things we can actually do to improve ourselves?
Exactly. Well, Michael, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were saying you go to the gym, you're working your physical muscles. But what we also need to work on is the biggest muscle in our body, which is our brain.
Yeah.
Be that, like you said, reading that book, getting your own external knowledges. My favourite one is actually going out with friends. Because for me, just chewing the fat with some mates and you know, seeing how they're going, because not all of them are business owners. So during the day I speak with a lot of business owners. We talk about business issues, and it's hard to get away from it because I'm so engrossed in it. But when my mates start talking about the footy, they talk about the cricket's coming up, their friends and family, their work sites, you know, it's always something which is imperative, because it takes you away from your own life.
You know, this would be a question a lot of business owners would probably face a challenge. They're at work all the day, working and understanding and studying business, but then they want to go with their friends, and their friends talk about other subjects. Yeah. How can they have a conversation about things when they don't talk in that world? How do you bridge that gap?
It's hard. It is hard. I have that same struggle, because all I want to talk about is my business issues and how this is affecting us. And you know, normally when I'm talking with other business owners, oh yeah, I have that same problem, and that's the conversation gets going from there. But people that work 9 to 5 or whatever it may be, they don't have those problems. So for me, it's just listening first, getting back to, you know, knowing your friends, knowing yourself personally, because it is a 24/7 day business that you run, but you got to let it go at some point.
So do you set yourself a personal agenda to make sure you kind of, if your friends are into footy, that you actually understand a little bit, watch a little bit of footy, watch a bit of tennis, or go to the pool, or go to the gym, and you start looking and say, I need to understand a bit more, so my conversation will go, I can break it away from business? Exactly
right. You're expanding your knowledge. So I'm fortunate, I love the footy, so when we go out with the mates, it's watch a game of football, it's fantastic. Yeah. But other sports, I have no idea. Like, I've got some really good friends that are really into grass and field hockey.
Oh, right.
I've got no idea. So I just listen. I listen from them and learn and watch the games that they go watch them play, and try to understand what's going on the field, because I have no idea, and speak with the other people in the crowd and speak with them after the game and whatnot. So for me, it's about finding passions of what other people are, because passion for me is business.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy when they ask about how business is going, and they ask questions, not just how business is going, but just how business in general works.
Yes.
Because I'm very passionate about it, I'm very knowledgeable. So I'd like to, I guess repay the favour and ask them about their passions. So,
Yeah.
so especially if you're meeting new friends, expanding your friend circle, find out what about these people, because it's imperative for your own personal growth.
Now, when I go to the gym, I've got a set regime. I love working out in the mornings, so that kind of works for me. You know I alternate between certain things. One day I might be walking, and then I'm doing my push-ups, blah blah. Should you actually set a timetable for your mental health development, or you're developing your resilience?
Definitely. So for now, as soon as I finish, well, before I finish my lunch break, like we know, business owners don't really get a break, but I make sure I put in 10 minutes of reading time before I get back in. So that's what I do every day. As soon as I finish my meal, I have 10 minutes of reading time and then back into it. I'm actually reading a book, autobiography by John Ibrahim, The Underbelly of King's Cross over in Sydney.
So not a business book.
Not a business. Well, he's a business entrepreneur, and he does talk about a lot of things like that. And I'm very interested in that. But I'm very interested in the underbelly of Australia, the Melbourne, the Sydney King's Cross. I'd love to know what's happening in the underground of Perth. So
you're reading before you go back into work. It's not a personal development read. You're not reading an accountancy book or a business book. You pick something off topic and go, you're all right.
Yeah, not a business learning book. That doesn't have to be accounting. Doesn't have to be a self-help book or anything like that. It's purely for my own enjoyment.
What do you say to the business owner that says, "Oh my goodness, Bobby, you're having lunch, so you're not working during lunch like we are, having a sandwich while I'm still tapping the keyboards and brushing the crumbs off, and now you're squeezing 10 minutes out of your 8-hour day, my goodness, to read this book." I'm like, what do you say? I don't know how you do it. I can't fit that in.
Easy. You make it fit. Book it into your calendar. Instead of having an appointment with a client, a networking meeting that you normally book in your own personal calendar, book it in. Because having that 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it may be, it's just a refresher. For me, it really works because, like you, we train at the gym in the mornings, so we get up quite early. So by midday, we're quite tired. So what do I need as a bit of a boost? And for me, it's a mental health boost for me. So then I can work to another, or from midday or 1 o'clock, I can work to 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Yeah, because I personally have that mental refresher booster.
Yep.
And then I don't have to worry about doing it at night, because as a kid and as growing up in my 20s, I used to read every night. I used to be a really good reader, and starting the business, I was too fatigued, because by the end of the day, I'd come home and I just want to go to bed, have dinner and go to bed.
Right.
So now I'm bringing forward, instead of reading before I go to bed, I do it during the day when I do have some time, and I make some time, and I'm more, I can get refreshed.
So apart from that, what other self-care goals can people start to put on the list to consider what would work for them?
Yeah, so I find for me as well, we book in monthly dinners with the boys. So for me, it's every month we go either have ramen. We love our Asian food, so we either go have ramen, we go through to Korean barbecue or some fantastic Thai restaurants.
My language here.
Yeah, exactly. so those, there's 6 of us from high school that we catch up, and they don't run businesses. They just do their own thing, and we all catch up once a month and have dinner and chew the fat, talk about nothing. For other people, they may want to take up a hobby.
Now that is interesting. A lot of business owners may have had hobbies in the past, but they get too busy for a hobby.
Correct. Like myself, I'm a big fan of golf, as we've spoken about a few times before. I love a game of golf. My best friend actually just messaged me this morning, "When are you free for golf?" But I'm not free for golf, unfortunately, because I am so busy. And that's something which I need to book in advance. And as much as I'd like to play every week like I used to, it's now, I want to try get it to once a month.
Right.
And there's something like that. Imagine that as a business owner. You've got 4 weeks in a month roughly. From the start of the month, you can go, I'm going to reward myself at the end of the month by playing a game of golf. Or going for doing a triathlon, or whatever it may be you enjoy. You may love playing croquet or knitting or something like that. That may be your hobby, but book it in for something which will make for a time which will be beneficial for you to boost your own mental health.
So when we're talking about, and we've talked about fitting things in, and people say we're so busy, and look, I've used that excuse as well. So is it a matter when someone sits down with like an advisor like yourself, you start looking for where they can more optimize the business and start, making sure they can get the work done but in less time? Is this where it kind of then starts, they can analyze the business and say, well, I shouldn't be doing that and I shouldn't be doing that, and compressing things?
Correct. So what we actually do is we also look at your, apart from being accountants and business advisors, we look at your systems and processes. So one of my number 5 hidden cash flow tip is actually time. You're not going to see time on the balance sheet or the profit and loss. The biggest time factor is what can you do to get time back? Right. And one of my things is, do you employ another staff member? It's going to cost you money, but it's going to save you time in your day to either make more sales or to get some time back for yourself. The second thing I like to talk about is software upgrades. Once again, it's going to cost you money, but it's going to save you time because there's things happening in the background that's automated that you no longer have to manually do. Yeah. The third one is exactly what you said. Get a list of your daily tasks. If you've got 50 things on your list that you have to do every day, you don't have to do them all. You need to split that task down to maybe 5.
Because most of us will make a big list, won't we? And it's all urgent.
It's all urgent. Everything is urgent. It needs to be done now and has to be done by me.
Yes.
None of my staff are qualified enough to collect the mail from the post office. That's my job. Like the staff can't deposit the cash into the bank because that's my job. They can't do that. And this is where it comes down to trusting the process, trusting your staff, trusting the software. And one of the things I talked about in a recent cash flow webinar was, yes, you may employ staff, you may buy software, and it may cost you money. And you may not make more sales, you may not make any more money, you may be losing money actually. But what you're going to gain in time, it's so much more important than money. Money comes and goes, but that minute that just went by just now, you're never going to get that back.
Wow. So your top little tips, so someone now is getting a little bit stressed, or they feel like they're getting tired or irritable and they're getting distant, as you were saying earlier on, where should they start? Where's the starting point for people, do you think?
I guess the starting point that I would do for someone that's new to winding back, just take 5 minutes out of your day. All you need is 5 minutes. Pick up a book and just read. It may turn to 5 minutes, may turn to 20. But don't get it like with the screen time. Don't get too engrossed with it because you'll finish the whole book by the day, and then you look outside and it's dark. You're like, oh, where'd the day go? But it's start with 5 minutes.
Right.
Go for when you wake up 5 minutes earlier. Do some stretching in the morning. Just anything that you want to do for 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes will turn to 10 because you'll go, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to double that time and I'm going to triple it. And then you know what? By you fitting that 1 hour maybe of you time in that day, you realise how much more structured your day will be because you know that's you time. That's a non-negotiable. The other parts of the day you'll structure around and make it fit because we all have that 24 hours in a day. And we really need to know how to structure it much better. Yeah.
You said like 5 minutes, and I think one of the things that talking to business owners, they don't take holidays because there's no time to fit. We're not talking 5 minutes, we might be talking a long weekend or we might be talking a week. What is it really going to cripple their business if they take a week off?
If it's you yourself in the business, which a lot of sole traders are, it may do. But you have to understand that your customers realise that too. Your customers know that, I can live without this business advisor, or I don't need my electrician, or I don't need my IT guy, whatever it may be, for that 1 week. And as soon as you get reassurance about that, you can have that 1 week off. And especially as you grow your business, turn into a company and you've got 1, 2, 3, 10 staff, then they're the ones that will be doing the work for you for a lot of the bigger parts of your business. So,
is this then the advantage of having an advisor like yourself? I know you do tax, but that's just a small part of your business advisory and structure and helping business owners grow on many levels. When they sit down and they do these sessions with you, is this all included? Is this where you help them not only build a better business, but a better basic life?
Better life, exactly. Build a better life, exactly right. We look at your numbers, yes, and we look at the numbers about where you want to take it and what you need to do to get to those numbers. And if that's you employing staff, is that you upgrading your systems, that'll get you to that point. But then it's where in that you can grow your business, but at what point are you going to almost step back? I wouldn't say step down a role, but just sort of step back in the form of time. And yes, you can grow for your business to $0 to 10 million. That's you can do that, which if you're in the right industry. However, getting the right systems in place to make sure that you're doing it personally and making sure that you aren't overwhelmed with doing it. Because I've seen it happen all the time. People grow too quick and they just fail because themselves personally can't handle the extra pressure because they haven't put those personal systems in place that will help them grow their business.
Fantastic. Bobby, it's been wonderful talking to you about mental health for business owners developing their resilience. The best way of contacting you, because you're more than a accounting firm, you're on about building not a better business, but also a better life. What's the best way of them contacting yourselves?
Everyone, our office is 868 Beaufort Street, Inglewood. If you want to come and pop in, have a coffee, call us on 08 6144 3370 or email us office@ultimate-tax.com.au.